Hello YouTube, to everyone watching. This developer just ruined their life, and it's completely deserved. By Rev Says Death.
From shills, but it's not sharing gameplay or the story. Rather, they're making posts coping about this game's release, or even trying to provide misdirections and straw men to say that things like misogyny and sexism are the reason why this game's not selling more copies. So we have a lot of things to discuss in today's video, but let's start off with an update about this Ghost of Yotei dev named Drew. We talked
You know, there's a lot. There's a lot of things we. Wow. Uh, we can go read. We have the pronouns. We have whatever this means. Snake emoji, devil emoji, fox emoji, spider emoji, snake emoji. Don't know what that means. And we got, I hope this shooter's name is Mario, so that Luigi knows that Bo got his back. How insensitive. He died doing what he loved, being a transphobic, racist bigot. Sad. Sad how people actually act like this.
talked about them over the past couple of weeks. They immediately came out after the assassination of Charlie Kirk and shared posts on Blue Sky celebrating his assassination and even glorifying political violence generally. And then they would proceed to double down, saying they've been noticed by Twitter. And then they would, I guess, triple down shortly after that, saying if they lose their dream job over this, they would do it again 100 times stronger. And then, well, they found out they were fired by Sucker Punch.
Yeah. This is what happens. People should get fired for acting like buffoons on any place. Acting like buffoons to get you fired. Too bad, so sad. Don't do that. It's like common sense. But it's to these people. They don't care. They want to speak their mind. Oh, freedom of speech. Yeah, freedom of speech, but the job can fire you for whatever they want.
And then we would get some explanation from the co-founder of Sucker Punch, where they made this very bold statement where they said Drew's no longer employed there, and that they think they're aligned as a studio that
W Sucker Punch. W Sucker Punch. Good move on them. Getting these buffoons out of the dev team.
making fun of or celebrating someone's murder is a deal breaker, and that they condemn it, kind of, and that's sort of their studio, and that's kind of where they are.
Why are we using kind of? Why are we using sort of? Why are we using kind of? I think we're aligned as a studio. Kind of in no certain terms. That's a sort of. That's sort of our studio, and that's a kind of. And that's kind of where we are. Why are we using kind of? Like, if you align with yes or no, that's yes or no. Not a, oh, I think we're aligned as a studio. We condemn that in a kind of, that's a sort of our studio. That's kind of where we are. What do you mean kind of? What kind of? Kind of doesn't explain anything.
Amazing stuff from them. But now we have an update. They have once again changed around their bio a little bit on Blue Sky, but they made this post right here talking about the release of Ghost of Yotei, saying this: as it turns out, my joke didn't make the game any worse, my firing didn't make the game any better, so really the only thing that the harassment campaign succeeded in was sucking all the joy out of my life, so I guess that's a W. Yeah, rip bozo. Sorry that
Rip bozo. That's all I gotta say. Because joking about people's matters is not okay. Everyone knows that except these people. And if you felt sad over that, or if you got fired, sucking the joy out of my life. That's just a womp womp. Too bad, so sad. Don't make fun of people dying.
somehow you mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk and praising political violence got you criticism, not a harassment campaign.
That too. Going harassed. They just called you out. They called you out.
Criticism. This person has now turned themselves into the victim, but some people are not going to allow this person to continue playing this role of the victim, and that person is Asmongold, who has been on this person since they made their first post following the assassination, and he is once again making it very clear after this latest update that he is going to follow this individual wherever they go in the gaming industry and make sure that she continues to find out.
W. Asmongold. W. Asmongold. We need people like him. Vigilant internet justice. Make sure she doesn't get a job. If he thinks it's okay to make fun of people dying, then get no job.
I made a video about them, and it turns out that they got fired. They got fired from their job. Too bad, huh? Wow. What a shame for you. And also, here's the important thing, okay? I want to make sure that people remember this, is that eventually you'll get a new job. And when you do, I might just make another video and contact that employer too. Now, why?
Give him the boot. Yeah, give him the boot. Yeah, you can't be making fun of people dying.
Would I do that? For fun.
For fun. Damn. Okay. Well, for fun works.
I enjoy it. I like it. It's a nice pastime for me.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to make sure people don't get jobs. They deserve it, but they don't get no job no more. Gotta go work at that Circle K down the street. Gotta go get that 9 to 5. Actually, not even a 9 to 5. Go work at McDonald's. Gotta clean the bathrooms. Oh, now that would be punishment.
That's why. Yeah, make an example about him. Yeah, exactly. That's it. And yeah, it turns out that my joke didn't make the game do any worse. How do you know that? Like, what a stupid comment to make. How do you know that it didn't make the game do worse whenever you don't have a use case and a control group for the game not do?
Actually, yeah, that makes sense too. That makes sense as well. How does Drew know that the game didn't do any worse or any better without her, or without Drew? Like, she didn't have a control group. She didn't have anything. Drew is just guessing at this point. Drew is just guessing at this point.
Doing worse.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I mean, what happened to consequence culture? I think this is very fair. I don't think anybody should want someone like that in the gaming industry, right? It is ridiculous that we have to put up with these people who will gladly celebrate the deaths of people over political differences. And I'm glad he's so on board with keeping up with these people, because chances are, I'm very confident they are going to get another job in the gaming industry. We've seen this happen before. There is absolutely no shame. These people are celebrated amongst many of their peers in the industry. So now let's return to Ghost of Yotei and its release. Like I said earlier in the video, there's a very weird phenomenon going on Twitter where there's viral tweets talking about this game, but they're not celebrating the gameplay or the story, and they're made by the shills and the supporters of it. So what are they talking about? Well, they're talking about a bunch of very weird things that really have nothing to do with anything, and they're really just creating straw men to complain about. And to clarify right here as well, it has been reported that they have cleared 2 million sales in these first couple of days since the release, which is not too surprising. A lot of people are mocking the boycotting of this game because of various things members of their team have said.
Well, it looks like it's not doing much. 2 million sales. 3 days into its release. 2 million sales. It looks like this boycott is actually doing nothing. And that's good. That's a good thing. People don't. This game. This game. I. I have high hopes for the game. I intend to play this game. I intend to play this game in its entirety. Hopefully, it's a good game. It looks good. It seems good. 2 million is a good figure.
But nobody ever came out and said this game wasn't going to sell millions of copies. It is following up Ghost of Tsushima, which sold, I believe, like 13 million copies. This game was destined for success, and the game itself is well liked by most people. Some people think it's boring, some people enjoy it, but it has enough gas in the tank to make millions of sales. But of course, what are people featuring? Scenery. Cooking. Like this person saying it's a 10 out of 10, and they can cook and flip it and move it so it doesn't burn. Wow, such gameplay. And also, apparently, foxes will cheer you on as you cut bamboo. Amazing stuff. It reminds you of Assassin's Creed, doesn't it? Where it seems like they would promote everything but the actual gameplay.
Well. In my opinion, I think the scenery, the scenery actually gives a sort of feel to the game. It makes it feel like more alive, basically. That doesn't shield them from why aren't they talking about the story. But the scenery is definitely a very important part to this type of game in a lot of games.
And story, and oddly enough, they're one of the first ones to congratulate the official release of this game, and it's just a kind of ironic to see that interaction. But another focus of a lot of the drama has
Well, we can go again. Dragon Age: The Veiled God's Rook. Y'all know what happened there. Genders are pronouns. All are pronouns. What a shocker. What a shocker.
Has been, of course, Erika Ishii, who is the person behind the main protagonist and also a proud member of Antifa. Yes, a designated domestic terrorist organization, because apparently in the gaming industry, you can be a member.
You can be designated as you can be a part of a designated terrorist organization. So, okay, yeah.
Member of a terrorist organization, and they will not punish you. Amazing stuff. Totally not a ridiculous thing to happen, but there's been discussions again about the design of her character, obviously.
Okay. Why would they why would they add that? This is a game presumably set in way back Japan. Why would they add that? Like, honestly, why would they add that? Doesn't make any sense.
Inspired by her, and people are criticizing it and making fun of it as well. And it sparked another debate about appealing character designs. It must be like the...
Oh, not again. We gotta keep doing this over and over and over again. Appealing character designs.
100th time in the last year this has happened.
GFL 2 is a game that combines the strategic complexity of turn-based squad combat with rich character progression through its wide cast of units, also known as T-Dog.
But there was this tweet saying maybe we owe Ubisoft an apology, showing Naoe.
Are you kidding me? Look, Naoe doesn't look great. I will admit, she doesn't look great. Goes, Yote looks fine. They both look fine. Now, is it as appealing as those Chinese games? No. But oh no, my Asian woman looks like an Asian woman instead of a sex doll. Like, are you kidding me? This isn't real life. These people can't separate fiction from reality. Just because a character is hot in some gacha game does not mean everyone who plays that game thinks that every woman should look like this or they bad. These people can't get it through their heads.
From Assassin's Creed Shadows, versus, of course, Ghost of Yote. But I don't think anyone was ever complaining about Naoe from Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think she has an appealing model. It's just the gameplay and the story and the...
Yeah. She doesn't look bad. Even though Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay, all that was a little there. It was a little odd. The character designs weren't too bad. They were fine. They were just fine. They weren't great. They weren't like 10 out of 10s or nothing, but they were fine enough for the game.
The other controversies surrounding the team at Ubisoft that was the issue with that game. But the quote here is what's really sending me. It's a Twitter coded post. I'm going to use their language. They say everything is coded. This is a Twitter coded post right here because nobody, not even a genuine misogynist, could come up with something like this. So the progressive person right here says this: "Oh no, my Asian woman looks like an Asian woman instead of a sex doll." Let's just call this person the CEO of misogyny.
Yeah. That's also now saying that every woman has to look like that. What about the people who look exceptionally attractive? So are those people bad too? The argument falls apart as soon as you think about it.
This is amazing. So, number one, they're implying, based on the context, that Asian women, when they look like how they're supposed to, are ugly.
Yeah, too. They're saying that this is the standard, which is not the standard. There is a lot of Asian women who are more attractive than this. Now there are Asian women who are less, but there are absolutely more Asian women who are attractive like this. Again, basically saying that those women are bad. Those women are they're outliers. They're bad.
And then the second part implies that if a woman is attractive,
then the only thing that can be used is a sex doll. Again, the argument falls apart as soon as you think about it. The argument falls apart as soon as you think about it.
she is nothing more than a sex doll. Like I said, a genuine misogynist couldn't come up with a post like this, getting 2 jabs in one short sentence. It's actually impressive how insane these people are. But Asmongold makes another appearance in this video because he recently talked about some other Naughty Dog drama, and he was looking at Intergalactic, and he came up with a theory, a good tool, if you will, to really address anyone, but women in particular, when they're trying to praise ugly female character designs.
There is no audience benefit to having an ugly female protagonist. I'm sorry. There's not. Nobody wants it. Nobody advocates for it. And if you think that's not true, go ahead and next time you see one of the girls that are talking about how good these characters look, give them a compliment and tell them that they look like this character.
Yeah. And besides, we can look at all those Chinese gacha games, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves. All of those have extremely attractive female characters. People like the game. The game is being supplemented by those. Having an ugly female protagonist does not help the game at all. It can hurt the game more. It's better just to have an actual attractive protagonist for the benefits of that than having an ugly one just for your politics, for your gender politics and.
You'll see them switch up real quick. You'll get blocked.
running era of
Oh,
grief.
yeah.
We know that the studio will be taking on the sci-fi realm next with Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet.
You look like Lizzo. Yeah, the Lizzo thing. Yeah, exactly. Lizzo's so beautiful. Okay, well, you look like Lizzo. What the wrong with you? Exactly.
No, actually, no, that would be a good scale. Ask them, tell them they look the exact same, and see what they say. See what they think.
No, I don't. Why? What's bad about that? I thought she was beautiful.
One thing Planet Fitness members have in common, they're all strong.
That's right.
It's super effective. Yeah, this is a really good one. If you have a little tool belt that helps you point out people's hypocrisy on social media, an old one we used all the time on this channel was your likes are public, right? Because back in the day, Twitter likes were public, and especially in scenarios where people were complaining about types of fictional content, you would almost always find that type of fictional content in their likes. It was very, very effective, but of course, it's outdated because Twitter likes are now private. But if you want a replacement, if you want to fill in that socket on the old tool belt, this is a great one right here. Yes, they will get very upset. You will catch a block, and it is a very effective tool to say the least. But what he's saying is not wrong. There have been studies and reports to show that people favor these appealing character designs.
Yeah. Again with the gotcha games. Let's take Zenless Zone Zero, for example. People play the game for the story and 100%, especially for the female characters. Who would play the game if all those characters were ugly? Who would play the game if Ellen Jo did not look like how she is? Who would play the game? Who would play the game if your Genshin Impact characters looked the exact same and didn't look attractive at all? No one would play the game. The appeal is the female characters in the game. Everyone likes that. Everyone likes these types of games. It benefits the games. It doesn't make the only way for this, whatever this thing is, to make sense is if your politics say it makes sense, which those are wrong. Those are that's not a good idea, because I don't think anyone wants to play as a character that looks like this. That looks like she got out of prison.
And I always go back to this poll by Mark Tyminski, who is the creator of Lords of the Fallen. He came up with this poll. He's made many polls where he's asking gamers for...
Yeah. No. 2.5%. I don't care. 13.1. 84.4% says yes. Yeah. Your male audience is not gonna play a game where your characters look like they got out of prison and they crush bricks on their head. No one's gonna play that game. No one wants to.
Their opinion on things, and he takes it into heart for his own games, and he also just kind of gets a general sense of what people are thinking across the board.
You can take another example. Umamusume. A game about literal horse girls. The game that if the character designs were actually ugly, no one would play the game, because that entire game is centered around those horse girls racing. That's it. That's all it is. People actually like those. People like those games for one, the story, how hooked they are, and two, the characters are actually nice to look at. They're going to spend 6 hours looking at actually attractive characters, except characters who look like they got out of prison, smashed bricks on their head, and share DNA, share 100% of the DNA from an orangutan.
And this question, with 11,000 votes, basically asks, should lead video game characters be widely considered attractive / aspirational by the vast majority of players? And 84.4% of people said yes. Only 2.5% said no, and 13.1% said they don't care. So if you're making unappealing character designs, you are at best maybe getting 15% of people's interest. Because these people don't care one way or another. So you're really just appealing to these two demographics. This is your choice right here. Either you go with the 2.5% who don't want that, or you go with the 84.4% who...
Seems like a better financial decision to go with yes. To go with people who say yes seems like a way better financial decision. But people who develop games with characters that look ugly don't care about finances. They care more about politics, gender politics, which if your game, if you're trying to make a fun game for everyone, then gender politics shouldn't be in the game because newsflash, people are different. People are different, and besides, most people who have those specific gender politics saying all female characters should be less than appealing, should be also ugly. They can, independent, strong, and blah blah blah. They usually don't play those games. For one way or another, they usually don't play those games. So you actually get a smaller subset of people who actually care, and say no to that.
do want attractive and aspirational character designs. It's literally a no-brainer, and yet every day on Twitter, you see another viral post complaining about this sort of dynamic and saying that people are sexist for wanting attractive or appealing character designs, and they would also say stuff like women would never want any of this sort of stuff. It's total BS, if you're asking me. But of course, it doesn't end there. Here's another post that got a lot of attention, almost 3 million views, where
This game sure suck. This year's video games sure suck if you can't stand women. See, like, at this point, these people actually don't deserve. These people don't deserve to be listened to. Not at all. They are spewing actual BS because for the sake of whatever.
this individual says, if you can't stand women in video games, this year sure sucked for you.
This dude, Artemis, is probably one of my favorite too. Like, that crow vibe with the sniper is wicked. You got like someone else like this dude.
I mean, I like how they snuck in characters that literally nobody had a problem with. I mean, they even put in Hornets. Can you guys point to a single post where people were complaining about Silksong because Hornet was the lead character? What are we talking about? Literally nobody did that. It's absolutely insane to lump characters like that into this discussion. But again, this is very easy to understand if you have a brain, right? It's not just the characters and how they are presented in terms of just being a female lead. It's if they are appealing and if they're well-written characters.
Yeah, those are the two. A character can be written as well as Shakespeare. To be written like Shakespeare. If the character doesn't look attractive, most people aren't going to play the game. It's real. It's like real life. It's literally like real life. If you aren't attractive, a lot of people will skip on you because they don't think, just brain chemistry. I don't know. That's why you have to hook them in with attractiveness. And then really worry about the writing. That's why most gacha games would not make their characters extremely attractive and then write the same games every single time. Because it hooks you in with the attractiveness. It hooks you in with attractiveness and dopamine.
And if the story's well written, I mean, if you would follow this logic, then Stellar Blade would have flopped.
Yeah, that game would have been in the gutter. But look, attractive female lead, characters look appealing, and look where that got it. It's doing fantabulous.
It would have flopped because people would have been like, "Oh, I don't want a main protagonist who's a woman. Oh, I won't. I hate this." No, And then look at things like the gacha industry, right? What is the most bottom line selling point of the entire thing? It's
Women!
selling cute anime girls, right? Of course, there's some that focus on male characters, but
There are some. Those some are the minority. The majority of gacha games are literally for men, for cute anime girls. Women can play the games. They don't really can, but but they're really aimed towards men. They're aimed towards men who want cute girls to look at and to play as. Like, it's it.
the majority of gacha games out there, they focus on selling people attractive female characters, including those in lead positions or lead roles in the games. And it's just like, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. It's just so much intellectual dishonesty, you know? And then you see quotes like this from people who've been shilling really every game that falls into these positions of Ghost of Yotei or Assassin's Creed Shadows, saying, I genuinely feel bad for anyone that refuses to play video games with female protagonists. Y'all are missing out on some of the greatest games of the decade over nothing. I wouldn't say it's over nothing, and it's not just because there is a female lead of Ghost of Yotei, it's because people don't want to support a game and a company that has people who are not only celebrating political violence, but are openly saying they are a part of a designated domestic terrorist organization.
Yeah, people just won't support it. It's actually some people people. It's like saying separate the artist from the art, separate the musician from the music. Some people can't do that. Like, some people just can't do that. In my opinion, not good. And I don't think that's a good thing, but I'm still gonna attempt to play the game. If it's a good game, then it's a good game. Even if the VA might be in a designated terrorist organization, so be it.
That is a no-no for a lot of people. A lot of people saw that and said, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. And honestly, with the pressure put on Erika Ishii, if she was a smaller part of Sucker Punch, I think they would have fired her. They would have been pressured into it, just like they did with that Drew person. But because she is the face of the game, they wouldn't do it. They know they would have hurt their sales, so instead, they didn't do it. But that is why people are upset with this game. It's not because there is a female protagonist. It's so much cope. But here's a quote from Tectone on that latest post saying, y'all are looking for misogyny where it doesn't exist. People like female leads and female characters. What people don't like is poorly written female characters, the forced uglification of female characters, the yes girl boss characters. It's annoying, it's irritating, and it's worst of all, it's beyond immersion breaking. That's really all you got to say about this. Ghost of Yotei, again, like I said, is going to sell millions of copies. It'll probably be a financial success. But the question is, how much did they lose out on by having these psychos in their employment? Some former, some current. At the end of the day, if it costs hundreds of copies or thousands of copies being sold, it's still a dent into something, and it was completely unnecessary to have people like this trying to do their best to bring negative PR to games like this. And the reaction on social media, instead of praising what these shills are claiming to enjoy so much, to then just make posts creating straw men and blaming misogyny, is just pure copium. And like, they don't even have to do it. Like, the game is going to be fine in terms of sales, but they're still coping and they're still trying to find misdirections. It's just very weird. It's a very defensive and weird reaction. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think people like that should be getting jobs in the first place. They bring negative PR to the game. Now they have to worry about this for the game, potentially losing them sales. Yeah, like, actually, these people shouldn't be if they celebrate political violence, if they are a terrorist organization, like, if they're anything, if they've done anything illegal, at a terrorist organization, or done things like celebrating a person dying, they shouldn't have a job in the games industry. They shouldn't be having a job to begin with. They can't be normal. They can't be normal people in society. Then don't give them a job, because the job shouldn't have to suffer over these people. If they hire these people intentionally, then their fault. But the job's PR shouldn't have to suffer over these people's negative and miserable ideologies. Thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and comment. My name is Asashi, and I'm out.